Peace. I just wanted to take a moment and build a little bit about what I call online revolutionaries. And what prompted me to put this video up is that I came across a few videos that I've seen online of brothers and sisters who are so-called militants or so-called revolutionaries, and they're putting videos up of them talking about they gonna do this, they gonna do that, and striving to incite people to do certain things that would be considered militant or violent, even committing crimes. I've seen them doing lectures where people are coming out supporting them, talking about doing these things. I see brothers and sisters on Facebook posting up pictures of being at gun ranges and the guns they got, and putting stuff on Twitter about, how revolutionary they are. And I kind of wanted to clarify a lot of that because I see that a lot of people are not conscious to really be able to recognize what true revolution is. Number one, the beautiful thing about having 120 is that I learned a long time ago in my student enrollment that we are outnumbered here in the wilderness of North America. 17 million with 2 million makes us 19 million. And, we are obviously the majority all throughout the planet Earth. But here in the wilderness, it's 103 million in comparison to 19 million of us. So we're not the home team. So not being the home team psychologically says that you're on the defense. You don't have the crowds backing, you don't have the resources, the institutions around you don't truly represent your ideology, you don't have the economic system to support you, you don't have the military backing. So some of the things that you see people saying online about what they got, what they don't got, what they gonna do, what you need to be doing, is just basic, unsound military strategy when you consider the geographic location, when you consider the resources, when you consider the demographics. And, it's equivalent to really just playing poker with somebody, and you got your hands facing this way with everything in your hand showing your opponent so that they know exactly what they need to do in regards to you. It's never sound military strategy to tell people what you got, where you're at, what you're doing, or anything like that. It reminds me of a scene in The Godfather when he was sitting down with the Turk, with a meeting with the Turk, because the Turk wanted to present him with a proposal with being able to bring drugs into the communities that he really had jurisdiction over. So while they're sitting there meeting, the Godfather's hot-headed son, Sonny, or Santino, jumps in the conversation and starts tipping his hand, telling the Turk something that they weren't supposed to be sharing with the Turk. So the Godfather turns around and checks him lightly. The other people who came with the Godfather kind of look at each other like Santino running his mouth. So what the Godfather does is he ends the meeting abruptly. He tells the Turk that he appreciates his offer, but he's not willing to go in with him. And, as they're walking out of the room, he pulls Santino aside, slaps him, and checks him. And tells him, don't ever tell someone outside of this family what you're thinking again. So, a lesson should be learned from that, because right in the next scene, you see Santino get set up and killed. So, you look at our young brothers that's right here behind me. That type of that kind of rhymed with tragedy, didn't it? That type of strategy that I see these so-called online revolutionaries taking is putting them in danger. It's putting them out in the open. Telling somebody what you got, telling them what you're thinking, it makes you just as vulnerable as Santino or Sonny was. And if you don't agree with what I'm saying, continue to do what you're doing and just see what type of results you're going to continuously get. So that's one thing that I notice with a lot of these people who are talking like that, talking all bold and brolic. That's just not sound or educated military strategy, especially considering where we're at in a type of support system that we do or don't have. Another thing that I notice with a lot of these people is that they're never talking about revolution in the first person. What I mean is, I seen a video of a brother talking about people need to be putting money on Zimmerman's head and stuff for what he did to Trayvon and all this other stuff. He wasn't talking about or showing you the money he had putting on somebody's head. He was telling y'all to do it. These same people are not posting videos of them in the act of militancy, doing something militant, or in the act of doing things in a community or doing things violent. They're just meeting you at a lecture telling you what you need to do, riling you up, inciting you to violence or any type of other actions that you're going to go to jail for, you're going to get locked up for, you may even die for, while this still person is going to be torn, continuing to do what they're doing and getting paid a lot of times from organizations, institutions, businesses, societies whose vested interest is upholding the status quo that these people say they're opposing. These are things that y'all need to consider when you're watching these people getting riled up and your blood is boiling about so-called revolution. I follow basically, 3 R's. Realization, resistance, and then revolution. And these 3 R's, to me, is one of the sound military strategies that I've recognized, not just with a lot of our warriors here in the wilderness of North America, but all throughout the planet Earth, who have successfully been able to mount revolutions in regards to changing and transforming the status quo and society. Realization is just basically being aware of what's real, being conscious of the things that are around you, being conscious of the resources, being conscious of the support system, being conscious of the demographics, and taking the appropriate steps towards change. This realization is a very quiet thing. It happens under the radar. It's like an aha moment. For example, it's like when I started to make certain type of changes and transformations in my diet because I realized that certain things weren't good for me anymore. Next is a step, what I call resistance. So what I begin to do is resist eating certain things, resist going certain places, not participating in certain type of events, not supporting certain businesses or supporting certain restaurants that would perpetuate unhealthy eating habits. That also was a very quiet thing because it consists of acts. So realizing these things or becoming aware of the things that you want to change is an inward thing. The resistance manifests itself outwardly. These are the first 2 fundamental steps that truly bring forth revolution. So, especially in this kind of society, it takes being under the radar, not tipping your hand, not telling everybody what you is going to do, what you ain't going to do, what you got or what you don't got, in regards to really bringing forth transformation and change. Because if you're putting all your information out there, you are preparing those who will oppose you. You're giving them a head start on what they need to do to neutralize you. And like I said, that's not sound military strategy. I don't care how bold somebody's talking, how brolic they look. That's just not sound military strategy. It's equivalent to being out in the open field telling everybody to just come and get you. And, you look at my brothers that's over there in the back, that would get them killed. That's not preparing them educational-wise of what moves they need to make in regards to bringing some change in their life. I got family that a few years ago, they were involved in an incident and, they got brought up on charges. To this day, they're doing 25 to life. And one of the pieces of evidence that was entered into the trial against them was a burnt copy of a CD that the DA had with a song on it of my family member so-called describing the incident and the act of what actually took place. That was used against them. And now they're serving 25 to life. So how much sense does it make for some of you brothers and sisters to be out there posting pictures on Facebook of what you got? Or putting stuff on Twitter? That can be used against you. So like I said, when you start realizing things that need to be changed or, things you want to transform in your life, that realization is an inward thing. It's a very quiet and a below-the-radar process. That brings forth a level of resistance where you stop participating in certain things. You stop supporting certain things. And this is these real steps towards true revolution especially in a society where you don't have the support system, you don't have the backing, you don't have the economic system to really fund and support whatever your idea is in regards to change. So I will that this was inspiring, it was empowering, and it was educating to those of you who really want to get a true sense of what revolution is, because not only will it not be televised, but it won't be on YouTube, it won't be Facebooked, and it definitely won't be Twitterized. So with that being said, peace.